All right, so here's another factoring video, and it's factoring trinomials using guess and check. So you should have already watched the video, which is just factoring a basic trinomial where there's no leading coefficient, and it's factors of c that add up to b. And then you should have watched the video where, okay, things get a little more complicated when we have a leading coefficient, a number in front of x squared, and I showed you the AC method. So the AC method is kind of your step-by-step process. It'll get you the answer. I'm just going to show you another method called guess and check, and some students just prefer this method because they can just see it quicker and get to the answers a little faster. Okay, so here's a real quick FOIL review, because seeing this just kind of helps go backwards with the guess and check. So multiplying two binomials, we first will multiply our first terms. So 2x times 5x goes down here, 10x squared. And I'm going to go kind of out of order. The last terms is always multiplying the two last terms. 5 times negative 3 is a minus 15. And then you have the outside and the inside make up your middle terms. So outside, 2x times negative 3 minus 6x, and then your inside terms, 5 times 5x plus 25x. And then you combine your middle terms to get 10x squared plus 19x minus 15. So now we're going to use that same concept and work backwards to factor this trinomial 5x squared plus 27x plus 10. So if you go back to FOIL, let's see. We know to factor a trinomial, it's a binomial times another binomial. The first two terms always comes, when you multiply the first two terms, you always get the first term in your trinomial. So I know that the first two terms have to be factors of that 5x squared. Well, it's easy when the front number is prime, because my only choices now are 5 and 1. And then, if you look here, whenever you multiply your last terms together, you always get that last term. So my last term is 10, which means these numbers have to be factors of 10. So it's either 1 and 10, or it's 2 and 5. So now the idea is you make a guess, combining these, and figure out which pair gives you the outside and the inside terms that give you that 27x. So I'm going to write out all of the options just so you can kind of see it. So 5x and 1x are the only possibilities for my first terms. So I have 1 and 10, so either it's plus 1 plus 10, or it's plus 10 plus 1. Then the other combination would be 2 and 5. So it's either plus 2 plus 5, or plus 5 plus 2. So those are the four possible guesses you can make, and now figure out which one is going to give you 27. And 27 comes from doing the outside and the inside. Outside, inside. So when you actually go through and multiply them all, which combination gives you the 27? Well, 5 times 10 and 1 times 1 does not add up to 27. 5 times 1, 10 times 1, nope. Over here, there it is. Since 25x plus 2x gives you your middle term, that right there is the answer. So without doing the full AC method, we were able to just look at factors, make a guess, get it to work so we get the middle term. The more you do this, you'll get better at it and faster at it. Obviously, if the number in front has more than one set of factors, and once you start getting negatives, it gets a little trickier. So I'm going to do a couple more quick ones with you. So here's one, 2y squared minus 5y plus 2. So factors of 2, It's pretty easy, just 2 and 1 are the only options. And then here I have 2 also, so I wrote 2 times 1. However, now that I have a negative here, it actually is going to be -2 and -1. So we just have to test 2y, 2y, 1y, 1y. So that comes from the 2 and the 1. And then the other combinations, is it going to be -2, -1, or -1, -2? Which one, when you multiply outside and inside, gives you -5y? So this is -2, and this is -2. So that does not give you a -5. This gives me -4, -1. So those together will give me -5. Therefore, that one is my answer. Here's 2 more examples. 6x squared plus 25x plus 11. 5x squared minus 14x minus 3. Why don't you pause the video, see if you can figure them out on your own, and then come back for the answers. So for this one, I wrote down all the options, and then this one ends up being the answer because 2 times 11 is 22, 3 times 1, 3, which gives you that middle term, 25. The more you practice with guess and check, you don't need to write all of the options out. You're going to start just visualizing it and probably getting to the answers pretty quickly. And for this one, wrote out all the options, ends up being this one, because -3 times 5 is your -15, plus your 1 gives you -14. So just remember, this is one method, guess and check method. If you can't figure something out, guess and check, you always have the AC method, which is the other video, that step-by-step process. And you only need to do these when you have that number in front of x squared. When you don't have the number in front of x squared, it's just pretty quick. Factors of c to add up to b. Let me know if you have any questions.